Hello friends, it's Dave here from SaveDecks, here to bring you 3 reviews in one video. Aren't you lucky? I've decided to put these into one collection of mini reviews because these games are all kinda short and I think I can cover all I need to in one video. All 3 games were provided to me for review, so thank you very much to the developers and publishers for that. So 3 games I will be looking at are called PandaBall, Catty Batty and A Juggler's Tale. Before we get started, thank you so much to everyone who has subscribed already. Make sure you click that red button below to join our party and keep up with our videos, and hitting that like button will also help us out a lot. Thank you. So let's take a look at the first game. PandaBall is an arcadey, cartoony football game with pandas. It got my attention because, as regular viewers will know, we love pandas on this channel, so a cheaper, simpler football game featuring them can't be a bad thing, right? Well, let's take a look. You have 5-a-side football here. Rules are as you'd expect from something like this. Just pass the ball to each other, knock it in the goal. Fouling is allowed here for some manic fun. So on the surface, this seems all well and good. Nothing outstanding, but simple, easy to dip into for some quick entertainment. But how this game plays kinda lets it down. I've played plenty of football games before, mainly FIFA as well as some less realistic games, and I picked this up expecting it to play very similar. Press A to pass the ball to the nearest player, B to shoot, Y to slide tackle, something like that. But this game has a very different control scheme. You have 5 pandas on your team, including the goalie, but the other 4 all have a face button above them, A, B, X and Y. When you have the ball, pressing a certain panda's face button will make you pass to that panda, and when you don't have the ball, pressing that button will switch your control over. So that's what the face buttons do. How do we shoot? With the right analog stick. You point it in the direction you want to shoot, holding it for a nice charge. The right stick is also used for slide tackling. I have to admit, I was expecting this to just be a forgettable standard cartoony football game, but they did surpass my expectations by giving me a control scheme that I've not seen before, but I don't think that's necessarily a good thing. Using the stick to shoot is fine when you get used to it, but using the face buttons to switch pandas or pass, rather than having you simply pass or switch to the nearest panda to the ball with one button press, is not very intuitive. Especially when you consider how small the text is on the screen. I was constantly having to squint to see what letter was above the pandas, which did interrupt the flow of the match. You can play this local one-on-one or a single player tournament mode, and there are a few pitches to unlock and different pandas to play as, which come with different stats, although they do all look the same on the pitch, so character-wise it's not the most interesting. One nice touch is whenever the ball goes out for a throw-in or corner, a power-up activates, and the ball changes into something like a Powerball or Beehive, which adds some zany effects and can baffle the goalkeepers. It would have been cool to have the zany power-up balls be the whole deal with the game. So overall, I was expecting a simple and unremarkable football game, but with pandas, that could be fun in good short bursts. But sadly the controls do let this one down. It costs £10.49 and I couldn't recommend it at full price, which is a shame because I do enjoy these types of simple zany sports games, but I think this one is best left on the bench. The second game of the day is called Catty Batty, The Spirit Guides. This is a block puzzle game, I suppose you could call it, and it reminds me a little bit of Choo Choo Rocket on the Dreamcast. You take control of a cat and a bat called Catty and Batty, and you need to guide the spirits to the goal. You start by taking control of the 2 characters and pressing A to place a box and B to remove one, in order to create a path for the spirits to move. Pressing Y will unleash the spirits, who will all leave the starting point in different directions but follow a straight path, turning either left or right when they come to a barrier. You can press X to see a preview of where the spirits will go, although you can add or remove boxes after unleashing them, so there's no real pressure. I actually found this easier and quicker for the most part to create the path as they were moving. It's a simple setup and a simple game. There are 31 levels, although the final one is just the end cutscene. It doesn't take too long to beat either. The blurb on the eShop says it's just a few hours long, and for £4.49 it's not a bad ask, but there could have been more substance to this. There are plenty of different gimmicks to the levels to keep things interesting and memorable, but a lot of them are unique to a single stage. It would have been nice to see some hazards and gimmicks repeat with a harder difficulty to really make the most of this. For example, one level gives you limited boxes to place, but I feel most, if not all of the levels, should have been given a limit to add challenge. As you can just place them and remove them infinitely, it's sort of impossible to lose. It does display your time and number of boxes used afterwards, but without a rating or anything, there's not much incentive to keep them as low as possible. I enjoy the simplistic black and white art style, and the characters are fun. I enjoyed my time with this overall, but I really wish there was more. It's not terrible, but it does feel like a wasted opportunity. So on to the final act, our main event, a Juggler's Tale. This one really caught my eye, and you can probably see why. It's a puzzle platformer where you take control of Abby, a young girl who lives and works at a circus against her will. She makes a bid for freedom, and you follow her journey as she runs away from the ringmaster and others who are out to get her. The way this game is presented and the way the story is told is very unique and does play a role in the gameplay itself. The narrator is telling this story at a pub as a puppet show. You and other characters have strings above you that prevent you from going under certain items. It is standard puzzle platformer affair and controls very similar to games like Limbo and Inside. Just one button to jump and the trigger to grab things, but the presentation and general aesthetic to this game really make a difference. And the entire game is narrated as the man operating the puppets tells the story as you progress, mostly in rhyme.
The mercenaries and thieves gather round Tonga, as hungry and determined as a huge anaconda.
The presentation and story really are the highlights of this game. When it comes to the gameplay though, it's just kind of okay. The puzzles themselves are pretty basic and nothing took me too long to work out. It's lacking in real noodle scratchers for sure. And the controls could be unresponsive at times. I would sometimes fail making a jump as my button press just doesn't seem to register. But I really have nothing but praise for this game for its creativity. The amount of passion that went into this is very clear, and where they went with the story and design is really clever. But sadly, I can't really tell you about it without major spoilers, so I'm going to leave it out. I will say though, that I think the most enjoyable part was the final act, as that one didn't have any narration. He could get a bit annoying at times.
You have to do what I say. If you don't listen to me, I can't help you.
The creativity in the puzzles themselves were good too, but I just wish they could have done more with the ideas, kind of like with Catty Batty. The game cost £12.99 and I beat it in under 2 hours. That was on my first playthrough and without looking up any solutions. There were a few times I had to stop and work something out for a while, and another time the game glitched on me so I had to restart an area, but even with that, it's a very high price for such a short experience. I would say put it on the wish list, and when it goes on sale, at least half price off, then I do recommend this one, but be warned, it's not a long game. But I really do think you should experience this game for the overall presentation and story. It really was quite a ride while it lasted. So those are my thoughts on these 3 short games. What do you think of them? Let me know in those comments down below. Remember to like and subscribe for more to come in the future. So thank you so much for watching everyone. See you in the next one.